Welcome to this week's End of Days Update, coming to you from Tulsa, Oklahoma. We had such a great time there in Champaign, Illinois this last weekend, and then we were up at Elkhart, Indiana. Gosh, both churches are so fun. It's just neat to see so many people hungry for the coming of the Lord. What a change it's been the last few years, where people come in so expecting to get information about the return of the King. So if you're anywhere near Reno, Nevada this weekend, we'll be at Faith Alive Christian Center Sunday morning and Sunday night. We'll get into the coming of the Lord. We'll have a great time. So looking forward to being there. Come if you can, and we'll get into the Word. There's something about gathering. The Bible says, "Forsake not the assembling of yourselves together," as some would do, especially as you see the day approaching. So the Lord admonishes us to go, and that's what the End of Days Update's all about. It's showing us how close we are to the departure. A lot of people get all freaked out, like, well, you can't tell when the Lord's coming back. Actually, when you look at everything that's said in the Bible about what it's going to look like, and you start having a checklist, you go, wow, we're there. I know in our book, End Times Made Easy, and the countdown, the new mini book, Countdown, actually it's not a mini book, it's a little bigger than that. You have 80 signs of the coming of the Lord so that you can tell how close you are. Why would the Lord do that? He wants you to lift your head up. He said, when you see these things come to pass, lift up your heads, your redemption draws nigh. So what he's saying is, I don't want you downtrodden. So the voice of the church at the very end should be expectant and excited. When they see these signs happening, he wants you to get blessed and happy. Remember Paul talking about the rapture, he said, I'm writing this to you so you'll be happy and hopeful. So all the stuff we're getting into is to not scare us. Just signs aren't there to scare you. Signs are there to show you how close you are to your departure. If the quarter pounder with cheese at McDonald's is 7 miles away, there's about 5 minutes, maybe the way I drive, that you have an exit to get to McDonald's. So we have an exit coming. Everybody freaks out about the word rapture. All it is we're going to be evacuated, but we're going to be changed, man. The stain of Adam will be taken off of us. And just as we've borne the image of the earthly, we're going to bear the image of the heavenly. How neat is that? I hear people go, well, no, you need to go through the tribulation to get ready. Well, no. All those doctrines downplay how powerful the blood is. They're saying Jesus didn't quite do a good enough job redeeming us. No, I really don't have to go through anything to get me ready to see Jesus. His blood purchased my access to Him, and we'll all go up if you're born again. It's going to be exciting. What an event. I mean, the old movies used to scare people so bad. It's intriguing when a lady will walk up to me in a service and go, I've been lied to my entire life. I was afraid about the coming of the Lord. And it's sad that they'd be all fear-based. It should be the most exciting thing ever. And you remember when Jesus walked into town, the madman of Gadara, the demon said, are you come to torment us before the time? So he knew there was a schedule. Jesus was on a schedule, but he was early. So if demons can know the schedule, how much more the church? We should see right where we are. Jesus said, after 2 days, I'll come back. So wow, did he go to the cross on 32 AD, 33, add 2,000 years to that? You got 2032, 2032 or 2033. Take away 7 years from that, and that gives you a time frame of how close we are. I know that freaks people out to give you a time frame, but I can't help it if it's so blatant. It's not my fault. God made plenty of signs so that we could tell how close we are, so we'd be excited. I don't know about you, but I'm excited. I'm concerned for the world. Horrible season coming for them, a time of Jacob's trouble, the Bible calls it. But for the church, we'll be at the raptured up to the marriage supper of the Lamb, reward seat of Christ, and then we'll come right back with Jesus at the second coming. Man, every knee's going to bow, every tongue's going to confess that He is Lord to the glory of God the Father. Wow. Let's pick up with what's happening in Israel this last week. So many things are happening simultaneously to where you can't even get into all of it at once. But probably the biggest thing that we look at is what's going on with the Syrian regime. Wow, the new government in Syria is literally murdering women and children. The Kurds, Alawites, all the reports that came out is just hideous. Like these people are animals. So in response to that, Israel took out that flew in with fighter planes, took out some of the military headquarters for the new Syrian regime, took out some of their radar systems and their installations that they were trying to actually spread them out all over Syria. Because at one point, Syria had all these bases set up on the northern part of the Golan, close to Israel. Israel counteracted with all these bases as well. So that's all there still in place, but this new group came in, it's just killing everybody. There's just tons of things happening with the non-peace process. The Houthis even said we're going to start shelling from the Red Sea again. Any Navy ship that comes through that is Israeli, we're going to go after them. So you have Gaza firing missiles at Israel again, Hezbollah firing missiles at Israel again. Like the ceasefire is basically no ceasefire. and they did cut off the electricity to Gaza. Intriguing that when the plans came out for who would rule these places, it showed us blatantly how much the world wants to bring a solution to this. But this is how weird this is. In England alone, in the UK, you've got young college-age people wanting England to basically apologize for the Balfour Declaration. I mean, they're defacing the Balfour statues. They're defacing the Chaim Weizmann statues. Chaim Weizmann invented TNT, helped the UK win World War I. They said, what do you want? He said, I want a homeland for my people. So the college-age people are mocking when Israel gets their land. That kind of thing is happening so much it's almost bizarre. You even got it where our government's investigating 55 colleges because of anti-Semitism. Why would they have the right to do that? Because a lot of these colleges get so much money from the government, so the government can step in and say, hey, if you're going to try to shoot Israelis or picket against Israelis, you're not going to get any more money. So there's a lot of that going on, even more than you can imagine. There's stuff in Argentina. You had horrible floods. You've got asteroid watch. We've got a blood moon this Friday. I believe tomorrow night you can watch it at about 1:30 in the morning to 2:30 in the morning, indicating change is coming. I like looking at all the asteroid stuff, showing us how we got some radical things coming along. But you have Iran, China, and Russia do a big military exercise. They tried to pass it off that they were doing it because Iran basically rebuffed America's trying to negotiate with them about their nuclear program. This is how crazy it's going on with them. You have the head of the UN chief say that Iran is making nuclear weapons so fast, enriching uranium so fast, they're right at the point to have 10 nuclear weapons, and it would easily happen. So you've got this exercise with China, with Iran, with Russia, military, naval exercise. They call it the Maritime Belt, and they're getting ready to be able to fire things off even quicker. You've got Israel's had 700 terrorists killed with their drones. So there's just a lot of activity that point to devastation, point to war. And that's what Jesus said it would look like. He didn't say it would be safe at those times. He said it would be perilous times, but he also said you would see wars and rumors of wars. And man, that 7-year period, you see the setup for it right now. You see what happened with NATO coming in. All they did was to try to gather up as much equipment as they could, getting ready for Russia to invade. So all the players that the Bible said we see are doing exactly what the Bible said they would do. So there's many, many more. There's so much more happening with different nations. But boy, it's quiet in so many areas, and it's subtle in so many areas, and it's almost undercover what you see happening. Some of the stuff obviously is hideous, but you have stuff with even Turkey. The nation of Turkey, the Lord told me to watch Turkey when I first started doing the End of Days update. And man, you talk about crazy. Turkey is determined to kill as many Kurds as they can. So that's happening right in front of our eyes as well. There were some other things that happened there. When I saw what the governments did there, I just backed up and I said, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out of the 5 things that Turkey has to do, they're doing basically 4 of them right now. So it's just amazing. So how exciting for us to see these things and respond to it in order. What do? Help our local church, help our local pastor. This is it, man. Let's be all involved. Let's go for it. Don't be concerned about how horrible it looks for the world. Let's be concerned about soul winning and getting as much done as we can right here before Jesus comes. Man, come back next week and we'll look at what's happened. We have so much happening with the heavens. You had the Bethlehem star. You had sign after sign after sign in the Bible. Israel restored. Jerusalem won back. You had the Ethiopian Jews brought back. You got the fertility of the land of Israel. You got the revival of the Roman Empire. You've got foxes showing up on the Temple Mount. You got fish in the Dead Sea. You had the Dead Sea turned blood red where Sodom and Gomorrah was. I mean, that happened on the Day of Atonement. So physical signs getting our attention. You have 172 different species of predatory birds that showed up on the land. So you got the cleanup crew there for the Ezekiel 38 war. You got the cleanup crew for the Battle of Armageddon. So you've got signs, you've got signals. Absolutely amazing. If you went through all the signs that you have right now, it almost makes you just go, dear Lord. I love what happens in the services where people are fact-checking you. They'll come up at the end and go, I was fact-checking you about mainly the building that was the tower, like the Tower of Babel in Strasbourg, France. That seemingly freaks people out about the EU, walking through a pathway that was given years ago. They even have a piece of art in the front of the building that's a magnified molecule of iron and clay, because that's what Daniel saw right before the coming of the Lord. So all of these signs, I skipped over all the signals, the blood red moons, and the Bethlehem star. Man, how wild to have the heavens declare to us the glory of God, showing us how close we are. So you got a blood moon this Friday, And but there's just some ominous things coming for the world. I saw some reports even the other day where it looked like there was going to be some explosions in briefcases in major cities. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Maybe that's after we leave, maybe it's before we leave, but we know that if that happened before we leave, we have angels that have charge over us. So let's go for it. Let's see the finish line. Let's accelerate, and let's magnify the King right here before the King comes back, because he's coming back in glory, and we're about to see him face to face. Have a blessed, wonderful Wednesday. We'll see you next Wednesday. We'll look at all the things that have happened to show us how close we are. We'll see you then.
Thanks for joining us today at the End of Days Update. If you'd like to be notified every time there's a new post, just go to the edu at josephmorris.com and subscribe to receive email alerts. If these posts and updates have been a blessing to you, please consider making a one-time donation to help get the message out, or even becoming a monthly partner with Joseph Morris Ministries. Thanks again for tuning in to the EDU, and we'll see you next week.